I've been trading for 5 years now. I've made a little under $1 million, hoping I probably, who knows, that might get hit at the end of the year, but probably not. We'll see what the opportunity looks like. But going to what you said, I think like I trade ICT concepts. I haven't always traded ICT concepts. When I first started actually getting into trading, I went from, my first like 3 months, my initial, introduction to trading was actually through like penny stocks. And looking at like, the float and then having scanners, what was popping up on the day, stuff like that. And then I traded options for around a year or so. And then after that is when I found ICT, started trading futures, ended up becoming profitable like 3 years after I started trading. So it took me around 3 years to start making money. I blew around 40 to 50 grand in my first 3 years before I started making money. But my first profitable year, I made 300 grand. And then now I've been doing it for 5 years full time, pretty much working on TradePath tech software, where I wanted to kind of combine the things that I think make somebody successful, and really, give some traders a tool to actually help understand, what are the habits in place that they need to hold. Journaling their trades, I think, is one of the most important things, and is a very overlooked thing in trading, where it's funny because I see a lot of traders like that will easily throw a bunch of money at prop firms and then continue to blow them, but they don't even spend any money on like a journal to actually track their trading, track their decision making, like actually have the tools to look at their data, know if their edge is actually profitable or not profitable, know what kind of decisions they need to change within their edge during certain market conditions, during pretty much everything. And I think, my goal is to kind of switch. I think, social media and trading in general is very like flashy and very, get rich quick kind of thing. I think we're kind of starting to get out of it, but I really want to build a tool that not only I want to use and that I will use consistently, but that's going to just overall help as many people as possible within their trading journey.
Dude, that is the coolest. I'm super excited to get into it. And I see people here in the chat. And by the way, we do have a pretty cool offer. It's already there live, and you probably make more sense, more contextually once we dive into it. But if you guys go to the description on YouTube, or if you go on X into the tweet down below, then you will find the link to get actually a free trial to sign up for TradePath. So I'm going to bring that up in a little bit again while we're going through the actual platform as well. Just wanted to allude that for the people who are in here early. Shout out to all of you guys for coming through. Definitely be sure to check that one out when we get into it. But Justin, I'm curious on what are the things you picked up along the way as far as a trader, from the 0 to 1, I guess. What have you noticed from the psychology of a trader? What are the most important things to tackle from your 0 to 1? And then we'll kind of tackle the next phase, I guess, of traders. I'm actually curious on how you think about that and how you break it down for the new trader as they become more and more seasoned.
Yeah, so I think there's a cycle that everybody kind of goes through within trading, where they are initially drawn to trading, obviously, from the money and the profits that you can make. You get to work by yourself. It's a very flashy thing. Like, trading is an absolutely amazing job. There's no other job like trading. But I think quickly people find out that trading isn't as easy as what they thought it was, because it turns into a game versus them, you versus you pretty much. And are you able to say and do the things that you say you're going to do is really, one of the biggest things that I think holds a lot of traders back. So a lot of people that have been watching my content for a while know that, I'm big on psychology. I'm big on philosophy when understanding your relationship to money, your relationship to the markets. A lot of the times we trade to almost kind of affirm to ourselves that we know what we're doing, because of trading is a risk. And, as human beings, we're looking at this and saying, okay, well, if I'm putting in this much time, I hope that I get this much out of it. Right. But with trading, you're not paid for your time. You're paid for your decision making. So when you have a skewed perspective like that, and you continue to go into the market and you're looking for the affirmation that your time isn't being wasted, where it's like, I need to take a good trade, I need to pass a funded account, I need to have this happen. You're more focused on the outcome than the process. And as soon as you kind of switch to an outcome oriented focus, you'll overlook all of the mistakes that you make, and you won't, focus on fixing them. You're more prone to break your rules because of opportunity that might be in front of your face when it actually doesn't meet the requirements, and that's based on your rules. And I think, the really big foundation of like the 0 to 1, or, how does somebody really get to a point where they're starting to see success? I always say that everybody in their trading journey kind of gets to a point where you need to almost kind of die to your old self and say, you know what? I'm no longer going to sacrifice my long-term goals for my short-term dopamine, which is like, I'm going to sit in front of the market, take a bunch of trades because, I'm so focused on just passing my account. I'm so focused on making money, where I'm just going to take a bunch of trades. And you start to reprogram yourself to care more about building good habits, you care more about following your rules. And that is what it starts to give you satisfaction. So like for me, I could come into the day and make, $10,000, but if I make $10,000 and I broke every single one of my rules, I'm going to sit there and be very dissatisfied with myself. And I'm going to say, I don't care that I made this money, because the market's going to end up taking it right back from me if I'm not focused on protecting myself with the habits in place that is going to make me money long term. So I think that's one of the most overlooked things in trading, where number one, I think an edge is, the most important. If you don't have an edge, then psychology can't even really be a problem. You need to have an edge first that's proven, that you have data that can back. And once you have an edge, and I think, the easy thing, honestly, is having an edge, in my opinion, because there's just so much free education on YouTube. Like I have hundreds of videos. So many other traders have videos on YouTube going over IC concepts, a bunch of strategies. I think a lot of people in the space are like, oh, this strategy sucks. This strategy sucks. I really don't care. I think you can be profitable with genuinely anything if you have enough data to, support it and have enough screen time to see it actually play out. But I think the most overlooked thing is not the strategy, but more so the view of how you actually relate to your success and how tied you are to money. If you look at yourself as, you need to be validated and your identity rests in the amount of money you make, and you're looking for the validation of your trading within making money, what happens when you have a red day? Like your day is entirely ruined. And that used to be, my reality when I first started trading when I was in high school. Like every single morning that I took a loss, my entire day was ruined, because my identity and my success was based off of, did I have a green or red day? And it destroys your longevity mindset. It destroys your ability to actually be a professional trader. And I think the more that people realize that profitability and success is not a destination, but it's something that you step into as an identity, that is when you start seeing, a really, really big difference in your trading.
Wow, I love that. So for people, I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this are already familiar with you, and they've probably seen majority of your trading content. I imagine they know your story a little bit. But for people who don't know as much about your, the story, separate from trading, why are you at the place where you're at? And then also, I've met a lot of traders. Not nearly as many of them are thinking about it as deeply as you do, and certainly not attacking it in a serious manner and treating it the way you do, as a career almost. And I'm curious on how you think about that. I would love to, anything you wanted to share.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you on the second part, but I'll kind of give a background on my story. So I kind of look at the turning point, I guess, that I look at when I ended up stumbling upon trading was before I found trading. I used to play ice hockey. So my entire life, I grew up in the Bay Area playing ice hockey. And when I was probably 16 or 17, I ended up getting a really bad concussion and I couldn't play anymore. And so that's when I also started, really playing video games. I played video games professionally, like Fortnite. I would, get flown out to events in Anaheim. I played Valorant a little bit professionally as well. Like I was a big gamer. And when it comes to like systems, team play, structure, and like really a nerd when it comes to like processes and like getting good at something. Like anything that I do, I hate being mediocre. I hate being like, I hate
Same.
it. It's like my worst thing. I need to be really, really good or else I'm not doing it. So when I found trading, afterwards, my parents always thought that I would be a lawyer because, I think I have, God has gifted me with the ability to, speak pretty coherently and, convey my thoughts in a very good way. But I ended up finding trading, and through, that process of learning trading, I think one of the most overlooked things of trading is just the amount of emotional maturity and how much you grow as an individual within going through the process of trading, because it's very uncomfortable. It's extremely uncomfortable. And I think that most people think that that's a bad thing, but it's actually a blessing. I think the sword is always going to be sharpened through the fire. And I think, when I, pray to God and I say, God, I hope that I'm going to be successful. He knows that my goals I am not the person currently to accomplish my goals yet. And so a lot of people need to kind of think about it like that, where it's like everybody has goals, but they're not yet the person to accomplish those goals. So, that's why you go through a lot of hardship and you have struggles in your trading, because, that's the market literally saying in front of you, like, hey, bro, this is what you need to fix. Like, this is the problem. And I'm going to give you the decision whether you want to continue to focus on just trying to make money or actually improving as an individual, improving your patience, improving your discipline, knowing what satisfies you. If you're just chasing money, then you're always going to have ups and downs in life. You're never going to be satisfied. If you're focused on self-improvement, then that's endless. That's eternal. So When it comes to the idea of, improvement and becoming successful, and a little bit like from my story, those 3 years were brutal, like terrible. Days where I woke up and I like have videos of like me in my car riding, driving my car to the gym after I just took a loss and just being like frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
And I think traders always fall into, this, guilt cycle where I analogize it as like we have this mental ladder where it's like we have, 2 steps up, 2 steps down. Oh, I just did something good. Oh, I did something good. Oh, well, now I'm back down. And we're always feeling like we're on a hamster wheel in that, cycle of profitability. And that's why I think a lot of people try to get burnt out and like really affected emotionally by trading, because they're tying their success to like, how can I not, accomplish this? How can I not do this? And I think like traders choose to fall into that, where it's like the reason why I focus so much on psychology and philosophy, and I think a lot of people don't take it seriously, is because it's been shown to be not taken seriously. It's like you go on social media and, you have a lot of these influencers, not really like traders, that are more so focused on showing lifestyle and, the dream and the outcome of trading, and not actually trading. And so I think with trading, like, the analogy I use is like, you can't treat trading like you're hopping on playing Fortnite with your friends. Like it's a business. You have to treat yourself like a professional. And the amount of, self-improvement that you're going to go through that by treating yourself as a professional and treating it like it's not a video game, but like this is your job. You're going to see way more success when you do it that way.